All right, it says I'm live. You'll have to bear with me. This is my first time going live here on YouTube. I certainly hope you can hear me and this goes off well. Okay, welcome. So the goal of today is the goal of this live stream is basically to offer what I'd like to call virtual office hours, in which we can talk about specific neighborhoods, the ultimate goal, because while I'm here today to give you average numbers on the housing market, specifically with Guelph and Milton, that average picture is not a true depiction of what's happening perhaps in the neighborhood that you're most interested in, right? In working with buyers in our current market, I'm finding that I'm answering the same questions over and over again. A lot of it has to do with the information that's being fed to us. And some of it is, just keeping track of what happened over the last couple of years and what our market looks like today. So the only way I believe in most things to get over or to get past certain hurdles is through knowledge. Which is what these housing market stats are here to provide you. So some knowledge, some backing, some numbers, all things put together makes you an informed buyer or a decision maker. Perhaps you're a seller and you're saying, okay, how many buyers are actually serious out there, right? These housing market stats should help give you a better picture of what's happening. And if you ever follow, a lot of solid information comes from a lot of our real estate boards, comes from places like CREA, the Canadian Real Estate Association. So a lot of them, again, are large stats, large averages. And what we have found from February to March, because most stats come at the beginning of the new month. So right now I have a lot of March heavy stats to give you. They found that there has been a slight increase in the number of listings that came to market from February to March because we were at an all-time low, which created that sort of urgency for the buyers that were out there shopping. You'll have to excuse me. I have nothing fancy coming up on this screen because it's my first live stream, but the data points do stick. So pay attention to those. And of course, if you have any questions, reach out. I am going to be going through specific numbers having to do with the Guelph and Milton markets, because both markets are basically home to me, having spent so much time both in Peel region, then Halton and Wellington. These numbers are important factors. So let's talk about Guelph, and these are average all of the city of Guelph. This is not in particularly South Guelph, West Guelph, all of that, right? So in Guelph, the number of active listings that we had for the month of March of this year were 205 listings. And the number of sold listings were 184 units. These are, again, just an average number, 184 units. And in comparison, so you generally need to compare this, right? I like comparing year over year to give us a little bit of a bigger, broader picture if we're talking such big average numbers. Last year, in March 2022, for the month of March, we had 166 active listings. And in comparison to this year, March had 205. So, and the numbers sold last year were 257, right, compared to 184 of this year. Now, this is a very important factor for most buyers, most sellers, if you're looking at it's your sales price. Because let's be honest, most sellers want to sell their home for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. It's right. And most buyers want to buy their home for the least amount of money and the best terms possible. So there has been a drop in sales price. However, please keep in mind, there's huge factors that affect sales price, right? That affect price in general, including what's happening in our economy and inflation and the job market and overseas. There's so many factors that affect what happens in our real estate market. So having said that, the average sales price for 2022, so last year, March, was 970K approximately, versus this year, March 2023, our average sales price is about 760K. Now, this is a large average for the city of Guelph. If you're looking for specific neighborhoods, which I will get into as the weeks go on with these live streams, I am hoping to dissect big neighborhoods, because at that price point, if you take that 750 or 760K price point in South Guelph, and you're looking for a detached home, it's not a realistic price point, right? So these are the nuances of the city. that you're looking in, or the region that you're looking in, the neighborhood that you're looking in, this is where it comes into play. These are averages. So the average days on market, this is really important because in that balloon market that we dealt with in the last couple of years, things were flying off the shelf the day it got listed. So the average days on market in 2022 for the month of March was 9, compared to this month, or last month, I should say, for this year, the average days on market was 28. And that just gives me a little bit of confidence. Honestly, it gives most buyers some confidence. They have a bit of breathing room. They have some time to do their due diligence before they pull the trigger on picking their home. These are big decisions, and sometimes when you're rushed, things can be overlooked as a buyer or as a seller, which is why you have to work with a professional in the industry that's actively working in the industry. But I digress. All right. So the sales to list price ratio. Now, this is a stat that I like looking at. Is it really accurate? Probably not, because in our last couple of years, or whenever, there's I'll tell you what it is. So it's basically the close price to what the price was, to what the property was listed at, right? So say a lot of buyers, the first thing they'll ask, along with other questions, is, hey, are they still listing properties really low and, drumming up multiple offers, right? That's where the sales to list price ratio gets kind of skewed, because if people are listing it really low and wanting to sell it much higher, which the much higher price is actually market value, it skews the stat, right? So just for the sake of listing it, I will tell you that the sales to list price ratio, of course, was over 100%. It was 114% in March 2022 versus now, which is still it's still at 99% right now, right? Most properties we're finding, if there's an inventory problem right now in our current market, we're finding multiple offers are happening. They're very much a reality because we just don't have enough on the market to quench the demand. And when that happens, and you have really qualified buyers and good homes in good neighborhoods that will sell in any market, hit the MLS, they hit our real estate market, people are going to go bid on them. When you think about it, that makes sense, right? So the sales to list price ratio, while it is sometimes skewed given the low list price and high closing price, I think it's still an important stat that we just sort of keep in the back of our mind. It at least helps us proceed and look at what's on the market in a better, more informed way. So moving on to Milton, because I know so many of you are interested in the Milton markets. Milton is a great commuter town. Lived there for many, many, many years. And these numbers, and see, the closer you get to Toronto, you obviously know the closer you get to Toronto, your prices are going to be more inflated, which is what Milton offers. Now, both Guelph and Milton are along that 401 corridor, which is why it is so highly desirable. And as you get into Guelph, as you get into Kitchener, Waterloo, that's kind of our Silicon Valley of the north, but we're joking. I don't know if people are joking, but Google has their hub right there in Kitchener and Waterloo, and we've got those fabulous universities. It really does attract a lot of crowds for tech, for startup. The money is there, the diversity is there, the diversity is growing in Guelph. I know I'm touching on really big topics. I promise you there will be more videos coming through, which again is why I'm going live, because a lot of times it's difficult to hit record, edit, and then post. It's very time consuming if you're actively working. So Milton, let's jump into Milton. And these numbers are very interesting. So for Milton, you'll have to bear with me. I have my stats here on a screen, which is why I'm looking off camera. For Milton, the number of active listings in 2022 were 104 for the month of March, versus the number of active listings for this March 2023 were 78. Those are slim pickings. Those are slim pickings for a town that is seeing so much growth. And then the number of sold listings in 2022, 123, versus the number of sold listings in 2023, this is for Milton, were 74. Makes sense. Now pay attention to this, the average sales price, okay? We have to keep in mind, you've seen numerous articles, a lot of small towns on the outskirts. I'm talking really small towns that never saw that much growth. We did see sort of a I'm not saying mass exodus, but we certainly worked with clients that said, okay, city life, I'm done, take me far away, country home, right? So they moved out of the city, and those pockets, those outlying areas have definitely seen a higher adjustment than our cities that are just so much closer to our city, to Toronto. So Milton being that much closer to Toronto has seen a drop in the average sales price for sure, but not quite as marked, not quite as high as some of our outlying country rural areas. So the average sales price for the month of March 2022 was 1.3 million, and the average sales price for 2023 in March was 1.12. So there is a drop. However, when I compare that to places like London, when I compare that to places just a little bit further, obviously it's not quite as high. It is high, but let's be honest, you're also buying in a market that's not as ballooned then, right? All things are relative. Now, the days on market, it's honestly, it mirrors Guelph in the height of the 2022 March. We were seeing 9 days on average on market, and now for the month of March 2023, we saw it at 25. Now, these days on market are important because it gives you as a seller a clear picture of what to expect. So you're not thinking that your home is going to sell in under a week. It could, but it also could not. And it's normal. The sales to risk price ratio, we have at, again, 99% for the month of March of this year versus 114%. So it mirrors Guelph stats. So stats are important. I think they're a very important part of making any sort of decision because you need a clear picture of where things were, what the average is, what you can expect. And this is really an overall picture of the month of March 2023 stats for Guelph and Milton. Now, there are specifics we can get into by neighborhoods, but I would really, at least next time, I'll come on and do a more specific neighborhood market stat because I think that's where you're really going to notice the difference versus the entire city and then that particular neighborhood, which is something that I really love because as agents, when we work with buyers, we're not going all over the city. We're pretty tailor fit with where we're looking, right? We're customizing the experience because we know where the best schools are. We know the easy access to highway, the appreciation, what fits your lifestyle. Those are key factors. So I hope you found some value here with housing market stats. It's an important factor when it comes to making any sort of informed decision, especially in today's market. And I'm probably going to say that all the time because I think stats are important in any market. Knowledge is definitely power. So pay attention. And if you have some feedback, please let me know. If there's something specific you're looking for, also let me know. And I look forward to bringing you these virtual office hours every week. So I'll see you again next week. Thank you.